I hope you guys are having a phenomenal night, phenomenal day. I just woke up not too long ago, okay? And I've been meaning to do this video earlier, but if you know anything about when you creating, is really about mindset, right? And is about energy, okay? And so since my energy was a certain type of way, okay, I was like, you know what? It's not the time. So I just woke up not too long ago. And I want to talk to you guys about seeking validation, thinking that you have to put people on notice before you start anything that's new, that you have been given to do, right? And also about just trusting the process. You guys hear me say, trust the process and, do the thing that you have been called to do. Do the thing that, you are passionate about doing, right? And earlier, what really got me to do this video because I was listening to Myron Golden, okay? And it's so funny how the universe works, okay? Um, Earlier, I was like, you know what? I am going to listen to something pertaining to consumer law, okay? Um, at times, what is so funny is you may not be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, or you may not even know why source is telling you, to do something, right? For instance, in my case, um, consumer law, I never. And consumer law is pretty much you just knowing your rights as a consumer, um, as a natural person. And it really has to do a lot with spiritual, okay, like spirituality and stuff like that. And I told you guys before, when I had heard people, they would say oftentimes like, we, this is a spiritual one, things of that nature. And I didn't really understand too much like what they were saying. But the truth of the matter is what they were saying was that it is, pretty much the spiritual world. It's really about your mind. Okay. Um, and so it's so many times where as though, you know, myself, right? Like I listen to my intuition, but lately, I'm gonna give you guys a backstory, pertaining to this. So lately, consumer law has been coming up, right? For me to, learn about it, for me to do it. How has it been coming up? I had met a young lady. I told you guys before when I was doing Uber, and this young lady, she was phenomenal. She was, giving me some juice and stuff like that. And because I came back and I told my nephew, and at that time he was, he knew about consumer law as well. And I told him, and then he was like, oh, the person could be an agent, all this other stuff. And so I deleted the lady number, right? And so after that, it's like at times we could get so comfortable of doing a certain thing that you don't want to move, right? It puts me in a mind. Earlier, I was talking to this phenomenal young lady, and I was telling her, like sometimes in life, you don't want to move, and since you don't want to move, force is pushing you because it's like you just content. You just want to stay where you are because you comfortable because the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Or what to expect, okay? What to look forward to because you've been doing it, right? Like for instance, me doing these videos, right? I've been doing these videos for a minute. Um, but if I'm doing the same exact thing, talking about personal development, um, you know, law of attraction, primary law to law of attraction is law of vibration. But if I keep talking about those things, right, that's like, anybody could talk about it, right? But doing it is something completely different, right? And then not only that, it comes a point in time where it's though it's like, all right, what's next? Okay, what's next? How could I do something different? How could I grow? Right. And so what happened was, it's like I had a reading a few months ago. Well, not even a few months ago, probably about, was it a month and a half ago. I had met this, it was this girl who, this young lady on Instagram, okay? And I didn't know her from a hole in the wall, okay? Or I didn't know her from a milk carton, okay? I like to say milk carton. But her energy and everything, like what she was saying, I connected with her. Like, you ever heard somebody speak and you like, oh my goodness, like I connect with this person. I don't know them from, I never met them before, but they words and everything is like so relatable. I connect with them. It's like you are in harmony with them, right? And so the young lady, she sells jewelry, like crystals and stuff like that, but she also is a psychic reader. And I remember I wanted to know about the thing that I was doing, consumer law, right? And sometimes source is letting you know you on the right path, right? But because it's something new and unfamiliar, it's like you want so many um reassurance, right? You want so much reassurance letting you know, like, listen, you on the right path. When source is clearly letting you know, right? It's giving you synchronicities, and when I say synchronicities, you could pop on, you could be scrolling, right, on social media, and you come across a video where as though people are talking about like, oh, consumer law and stuff like that, right? And oh, I never asked to be a part of consumer law. I never even wanted to learn about it and all this other stuff, right? And that's like how the universe speaks to you through people, okay? Because it's letting you know, like, this person didn't want it, or this person, look where they started from, okay? And different. Okay, you can learn it too, right? And so the young lady who I had got the reading from, she pretty much was telling me that yeah, this is what I need to do, right? This is something that I need to do. And also like studying consumer law and learning it. And she was like, that's where your bag is, like, all these different things, right? So I got excited about that, okay. But then she started telling me about a guy, like my love life. And I never asked her about my love life. Okay. But she was like, yeah, I see a guy that's coming into your life. He's not gonna be a distraction. In fact, he's is going to be like balanced, whatever it is like that. He's going to bring, I guess, like in other words, inspiration to your life, more inspiration, honey. Honey, I'm inspirationed up, okay, right? And so I got excited. I got excited about that, but I wanted to come on here because even myself, it's like it's easy to do what we always have been doing. But it really comes a time where as though you have to trust, you have to have faith, you have to believe, okay? Um, and take the leap out on faith, okay? Earlier, about a year and a half ago, okay, um, I had received these tickets in the mail. Okay. And the tickets in the mail that came, to my house. I'm gonna tell you guys like how all of this is gonna correlate, is gonna come together, okay? Because I know some of you guys like, what does validation parking have to do with it? Right? But I had received some tickets in the mail, right? These park not parking these, yeah, I get traffic tickets, okay? And it came with like 9 points, okay? So allegedly, it was a police officer. I had to get a lawyer and everything like that. But a police officer allegedly said, that I was operating, because the vehicle is in my name, that I was operating a vehicle, and it was, I was allegedly reckless driving, and all this stuff. Okay. And so the case has been going on for about a year, and damn near 2 years. Okay, it kept getting postponed, and all these different things. So tonight I have spoke to my lawyer, has called me because we had a court date today and stuff like that. And she pretty much was saying like, oh, Dina, the prosecutor is saying this, like, you won't get no points, but it will be on your driver's abstract, whatever it is like that, whatever. And they'll reduce it, whatever, but you won't get no points and you'll just get a fine, right? And a part of me was like, oh my goodness, sometimes taking a easy route, and this is not giving no legal advice or anything like that, but sometimes taking a easy route is not the route. Okay. Especially if source have told you to take the route that requires you to have faith. Okay, let me say that again. Sometimes taking an easy route, okay, is not what you are supposed to take. Okay. At times, we need to take the route that requires us to have faith. Because if we are not going through anything, and I like to say growing through anything, then we don't grow. Okay, I tell you guys all the time, it's either you are creating or you are disintegrating. And so, I'm on the phone with the lawyer and stuff like that. I'm like, well, that police officer, it was an off-duty cop, whatever. Like, how could he say, it was me driving a car? I wasn't even in the car, okay? How could he say it was me, okay? Right? And so, so my lawyer pretty much was like, yeah, whatever, so what you want to do? And I was like, well, what you thinking? You're the lawyer, right? So she goes on, she's like, well, she was like, I wouldn't, she was like, maybe we could just see if the cop, show up, whatever it is, like that, whatever. And a part of me, like, I had all these thoughts and, ideas like, oh my goodness, 9 points and, all these different things, whatever. But then what I thought about, and I encourage you guys to do this, okay? 1 second. Oh, okay. I was listening to this song and I'm like, oh, I think this is it, and it is. Okay. What I would advise anyone that is growing through something that may be afraid, okay? Because you don't know how things are going to turn out. Get you a notebook. 1 second, family. Get you a notebook, something like this, okay? I got this notebook from TJ Maxx. you could get you a notebook like this. Is pretty much a planner. Okay. And I just write like goals in here. Um, let me see. Yeah, I write goals in here. I write a lot of stuff that, whatever it is I'm reading or whatever it is I'm listening to. Um, and earlier, let me see. 1 second, family. But in here earlier, okay, I wrote in here pretty much like, why was I afraid, right? Like, why was I afraid about, going to court, whatever it is like that, because we got another court date. And why was I afraid? So what I did in my notebook, what I wrote in my notebook, I wrote down like, why was I afraid? Okay. And I think it's important for you to write down like, what are some of the things that you are afraid of? Okay. Um, whatever it is, whatever adversity is, is coming up in your life. What are you afraid of? Like, why won't you do the thing that um that requires you to have faith, right? Like, why won't you step into the unknown? Okay. And a lot of times, it's because we don't know what's going to happen in the unknown. And one of the things that I did, I gave myself the worst case scenario, right? I wrote down pretty much like, well, if you step into the unknown, Dina, you ain't gonna die. Okay. Like, whatever the outcome is, you're not going to die. Okay. I once heard, I believe it was KRS-One. It was KRS-One who said, people that are afraid to die, they are so afraid to live. Okay? They are so afraid to live because, it's like they have so many excuses. So many excuses or why things won't work or how things could go wrong. And when you are looking at your life like that, it's no fun. Okay. When you get so caught up on, well, things ain't gonna work, or the what ifs and stuff like that, it's good, that we be, we say like, oh well, this could go, but it's not good to just stay there. Okay. It's not good to just stay there and dwell on it and just constantly just stay there. Okay. So I wrote a commitment. Okay. After I wrote down my fears and why, at times, because even when I had that reading, the young lady who gave the reading, she said, you supposed to do this, but you really holding yourself back. It's nobody else that's holding you back. It's like source, the universe is on your side and is working in your favor. It's conspiring in your favor, but you're the one that's holding yourself back. Okay. And it was because of fear. It was because of fear. You know, just because it's like, because we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, oftentimes we fight for our limitations. Let me say that again. Because we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, at times we tend to fight for our limitations because we can't see the light. Okay. And you are more than capable. You are smart enough. And I was listening to Brian Tracy. I think it was yesterday. And one of the things Brian Tracy said was, he said, all successful people, okay, they are, like, in other words, willing to learn. Okay, willing to learn. They don't successful people, they don't come out, the wound, in a lot of cases, self-made, millionaires or whatever it is. They don't come out the wound, at times, having certain skills. The skills that they may have, they learned. Okay. And so, to the person that's out there, I just want to give you inspiration, and at the same time give myself inspiration. Okay. Hazani, before you give anybody anything, on your starts with you. Okay. So yeah, so getting back to validation, right? Earlier I was listening to Myron Golden and Sonia, Dr. Sonia. I think that's her name, right? And it was an interview. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. Honey, the interview, it was so amazing. And it's so funny because I was like, I'm not gonna listen to this. And I listened to Myron Golden, okay? I listened to him because his stuff, his interviews, and the way he delivered a message, okay, is so good. Okay. Now, Myron talks about, he has say God, and he has say, these people talk about the universe and stuff like that, and so that part, okay. But when it comes to him delivering the message, and him speaking about how to become successful and everything like that is like really, really inspirational. And I had no intentions on listening to the interview with Dr. Sonia and Myron Golden. Okay. And it was so good. And one of the things that Dr. Sonia had said in that interview, is it Dr. Sonia or Dr. Soldier? It's Dr. Sonia. I think it's Dr. Sonia. But one of the things she said was, she pretty much was saying, like, you know, you don't have to be a perfectionist, right, to get started. And this is really the quote she said. She said, because all the perfectionists she know are broke. And it made so much sense. So to the person that's out there that's like, you know what, I'm a wait. I'm a wait to get started. I just told you guys about consumer law, me learning consumer law. It don't have to be perfect. Sometimes we like, well, I'm gonna start, or I'm gonna do the videos, once I have X, Y, and Z. I done said so many times, if I waited to do videos, or if I said, well, I'm gonna wait until I get new equipment, I'm gonna wait until I get a ring light. I remember, I'm gonna give you guys a few examples, okay? I remember doing videos, okay? Didn't have no equipment, okay? Honey, I done upgraded a little something, okay? I got a ring light, but I barely use it, okay? But I remember when I started doing these videos, okay? Only thing I had was my cell phone, okay? And I still have my cell phone. And I remember I would not allow me, just because I only had my cell phone, I would not allow that to get in the way of my greatness. I would not allow, because I don't have a $3,000 camera or $1,000 camera, I would not allow that to get in the way of my greatness. Oftentimes, why people tend to wait is because they don't think they good enough. See, is when you get that download, honey, and you get so excited, okay? See, is you that is 1 second, family. Is you that is going to bring the money in, okay? It's not the camera. Is oftentimes we think, oh well, it's this thing, or once I have this, and once I have the PC, or once I have the light and the ring light. I seen somebody online, doing a content creator, doing videos, and their content creator had $100 ring light and all these different things. That is irrelevant. If you can have it, or if you can buy it at the time, but honey, start where you are. You don't have to get all fancy. Okay? Start where you are. Because the ones that the message is for, they not looking for you to be fully equipped or all perfect, and have the most expensive. I was thinking earlier, right? Because sometimes my head be a little wild. Okay, sometimes I just show up on here. Okay, and I was thinking, after I left the laundry, I was on my way to the supermarket so I could buy laundry detergent. And I was watching a video that I did earlier today, right? And it was one side, like my hair was like sticking up, okay? And instantly, I start thinking like, oh my goodness, like look at your hair, right? Like it's sticking up. And I started thinking, that person that is seeking inspiration, they don't give a damn about how your hair look. You know? Sometimes it's like, we do ourselves a disservice because we like, oh well, I gotta be all put together, and I gotta wait to deliver the message. You are the message. What are you waiting for? You don't have to be all, put together and wrapped up in a box, and so perfect, okay? Because that person that has been waiting for you. And one of the things I had got from Dr. Sonia too was, I hope I'm saying her name right. But one of the things that I had got from her from listening to that video, that interview that she did with Myron Golden, one of the things that I had got from it, she said that, what you, and I always say this, what we go through, okay, is never about us. Okay, is you could be going through a divorce right now. You could be going through being assaulted. You experience, somebody assaulting you or whatever. You could be going through having overcoming your finance, or a finance difficulty, whatever it is. You could be going through so many things. And a part of you may be like, well, you know what? I want to give inspiration to someone. I want to share my story, with other people. I want other people to know that they too are going to be fine. They too are going to be able to get over this. They do not have to stay there, because you know why? Because I'm getting through this. Okay. And sometimes, some people will say, well, talk about it after you over it. Okay, talk about it. But I think it's juicier when you talking about it in the midst of when you got the lesson, and you like, you know what, I'm gonna talk about it now. I was listening to, I remember I was listening to Aaron Dowdy. Okay. And Aaron Dowdy is a content creator. He's a YouTuber. He talks a lot about what is it? I be saying astro. He talks about a lot about law of attraction. Okay. And I remember I was listening to Aaron Dowdy, and it was this one particular time, this like when he first started making videos, okay, on YouTube. And he has like over a million and something subscribers. But the reason I tell you, like, he has over a million, because I want you guys to know where people start off from. They don't start off with a million, okay? And I remember I was listening to him, Aaron Dowdy, and he was saying, At one point when he was doing videos talking about law of attraction, he felt like he felt like a hypocrite or something. Like he felt like he shouldn't be doing videos telling people, certain things or whatever when it comes pertaining to law of attraction. That's mainly what his videos mainly was, about. He talked about, and I'm gonna put Aaron Doughty videos in the description. I'm gonna link his YouTube content, because you know why? Because I believe that if you could get the message anywhere, okay, if you could get the message, if you could overcome the thing that you are afraid of, okay, and if I could link any videos or point you in a direction that other people too, they've been through this or whatever it is, honey, I'm willing to do that, okay. But Aaron Dowdy, one of the things he said was, he said, he was working at Barney's shoes. He was working at the shoe department in Barney's, New York. Okay. And he said when he was working there, he remembered he had like this epiphany or whatever for him to make, videos every day. Okay. This is why he was working at Barney's, New York. Okay. And he said he started making videos every day. He would do these videos every day while he would be working. After he get off of work, he would, make the videos, upload, edit them, and all these different things. And he said at one point he felt like a hypocrite because after he had quit his job, he had to move in with his father. Okay, and his father was a firefighter, investigator, working for, he was a firefighter investigator. And Aaron Doughty says, although he was talking about law of attraction and manifestation and the secret and manifesting, all these different things, he said he felt like a hypocrite because there he was living at his father's home, had to move back in with his father, okay, because he decided to take the leap out on faith and trust the process. And he said he felt like a hypocrite, like, what gave him the right to teach, law of attraction and all these different things when he was living with his father and it wasn't even his own home, okay? And I think a lot of times what tends to happen is because we feel as though like we are not there yet, that we're not capable to give advice, right? And is not true. Is not true. See, is people for every part of your journey that you're gonna come across, okay? It's people that you are going to inspire based upon where you are right now, okay? And as you are figuring it out, you are attracting your audience, your community, okay? As you are figuring it out. And then there's going to be people later on when you advance in that thing. Okay. Sometimes you may not even know. Okay. Like you may not even believe that you are as good as people say you are. Okay. Because sometimes we have been so programmed to believe, well, in order for you to be X, Y, and Z or expert in that field or whatever, you have to have the degrees and, all these different things. And it's so funny because earlier when I was listening to Dr. Sonia, one of the things she said her degrees got in the way of her being successful. They got in the way. And a lot of times that because even for as myself, the thing that I went to school with, okay, the thing I went to school for, criminal justice and psychology. I did go to school for well, I did one semester. But that's not, I get passion from doing these videos. Like, my passion is in these videos. Okay? All right? And so, validation, okay? Seeking validation, okay? You do not, the only way you get validation or whatever it is with a parking ticket, okay? You do not have to go out and ask the world or ask people, well, you think I could do this? You know? You think I'm good enough for this? You think I have what it takes? If you, I keep telling you guys this because I really want you guys to understand this. If you have been given, okay, which all of us has, we all have purpose, okay? We all have multiple gifts. But if you have been fortunate enough to know what your passion is, and if you could just take the leap out on faith, check, because what's the worst that's going to happen? It puts me in the mind of yesterday when I went to the laundromat. I told you guys about the intuition, right? My intuition kept telling me to, go to the laundromat that is closer to my house. And when I got outside, and I'm walking and stuff like that, I noticed that, it was rather dark, right? The clouds and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I, started walking, got probably like 2 blocks away from my house, and it started drizzling, okay, raining, misting, okay. And I said, oh my goodness, why would my intuition tell me, to go to the goddamn laundromat and it's about the damn poor. Honey, I thought I was gonna have to build the goddamn ship like Noah, okay? Because I said, goddamn, it's about the poor out here and I'm gonna get goddamn soaking wet. And it's so funny because as I turned around, right, to come back home, because I was like, I'm not getting soaking wet, and I see a car at the stoplight, okay, and I something said, like for me to look up. I look up in the sky, okay, I'm looking up at the clouds, and I'm like, I just couldn't understand, like, why would my intuition tell me this? You know, and this has happened to me other times too, where it's though, and it something small as the weather, right? Trusting that voice that had told me to go such and such. Okay, I remember even one time I got a download for me to go to the park and have a picnic by myself. Okay, and it was something new, something I never done before. Okay, and I was a little nervous because I said, God damn, I never did this before. Okay. A lot of times, when your intuition is telling you to do things, is because spirit wants to expand. Okay. It wants to express itself through you. And so, I was told to go to the park, have a picnic and stuff like that. I brought my watermelon and everything like that, but it was looking rather cloudy. And so when I got to the park, and I even did a Facebook Live, and this has happened to me multiple times, okay? And so I'm at the park, I'm eating my watermelon, the sun is coming out, okay? Right? And then when I left the park, it starts raining. It starts pouring, okay? Another time, I remember this one particular time I got a download for me to go to Duke Farms, okay? If any of you guys are from New Jersey, okay, um, Duke Farms is such a beautiful place. I mean, it's so beautiful. is so so beautiful. I mean, they have acres of land. They have a garden, okay, with different orchids. It is really really a beautiful place. It's free, okay? It's free. You know, they have like a pathway as though you could walk, a trail you could walk. It's like you pretty much in nature, away from the honking and the horns and beep. You away from there, okay? It is such a beautiful place. It's called Duke Farms. You can in fact look it up after this video or during this video. And oftentimes when I feel a certain type of way, or when I need to recharge, I will go to Duke Farms. Okay. And I remember this one particular day, I got a download to go to Duke Farms. And at this point in time, I was, in the midst of, oh, I got to do Uber. No, I can't, can't go to Duke Farms today. I got to do Uber. Okay. And I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna go. My intuition told me to go. I'm gonna go. And I remember it was cloudy, okay? And I was driving to Duke Farms, and I just couldn't understand why would my intuition tell me to go to these places and it's about to rain? And when I got to the place, okay, it did not rain. It it just was cloudy. But and some may say, well, what the hell is the significance behind this? Okay, you're telling us about the rain and all this other stuff. Trust us and trust. The reason I'm saying it is because I don't watch the weather. Okay? And I need to say that because oftentimes we have been programmed to not trust ourselves, not trust our intuition. Okay. And the reason I'm saying I don't watch the weather, it comes a point in time where so I need to trust what I'm hearing. I need to trust my intuition. When my intuition is telling me to do this or go here or, do that or whatever it is. And the more you trust it, the more you listen to it, the louder it becomes. Okay? The more you say, you know what, I'm going to trust it. Don't make sense to me right now, but I'm going to trust it. It gives you this confidence to know that you are being heard, to know that source is working in your favor, to know that the universe is conspiring to work in your favor, to know that, it becomes this confidence, I did hear what I thought I heard. I did hear for me to open that business. I did hear for me to go a different route. It gives you that confidence. It gives you that, you know, something is on your side. Okay. Whether you say your ancestors, your spiritual guides, whether you say God, Allah, whatever you say, okay, it is working for the betterment of you. It is working in your favor. Okay. All right. So where was I? I was telling you guys about Aaron Daddy. Oh yeah, so what happened was Aaron Daddy just trusted the process and he kept on going. He kept making videos, okay? And from him trusting the process and making the videos, it allowed him to live the life that he knew he deserved. And I remember taking doing this it was like this 5 day seminar. Okay, but it was like online. It was with Aaron Dowdy, it was with Matthew, Matt and Victor. Victor, I don't know Victor last name, and I don't know remember Matt's last name, but that Aaron Dowdy, those are Aaron Dowdy's friends. Okay, the YouTube I was telling you guys about. And one of the things that they all have attested to and said, is not about you having everything figured out. It's not about you being like this expert, you being like the guru on top of the mountain. It is, people will they will relate more to you, okay, if and what I have seen in my experience is when I am vulnerable and transparent, people relate to me better. Okay. It's even times where, so I remember a few times I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this video, right? And I love making content, but I noticed when I don't have it figured out, okay, uh, um, especially when I first started with consumer law, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like reprogramming your whole goddamn mind. Okay, reprogram. It's like, honey, you in kindergarten again, because all the stuff you thought you knew, honey, is wrong. Okay, it's been wrong. You done been lied to. You been bamboozled, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and I remember I said, it was one particular. I don't want to do the video. Okay, I don't want to. And my intuition, do this video. Okay, do this video. Show up. And every time that I have done a video, when I am figuring stuff out, just like the next person, okay, when I'm doing something different, when it requires me to trust the process, when it requires me to take the leap out on faith, okay, um, my reviews, they go up so much. And I guess it's because of me just listening, me being obedient. Okay? Me saying, I don't know how this video is going to do, but my intuition had told me to do a video on this, and so I'm gonna be obedient and I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna do it. Okay? And that's really what it's about. Okay? That's really what it's about. So you don't need to seek validation, and also, hey Tracy, peace to you, baby, peace to you, peace to you. Also, another thing what you have to understand is, if you are doing something that you absolutely hate, okay, you earn enough money or whatever it is, but you are absolutely miserable. I remember when I first started these videos, and I would tell people, I would be like, honey, you gonna have to quit that job. Okay. When I first started doing these videos, I would say that because, you know, I felt it was too big of a price for you to be sacrificing your happiness for money, you know? And I remember even my mother was saying, nobody is gonna listen to you, telling them to quit their job and all this other stuff. And nowadays I say, do what works for you. Okay. Um, but I just felt like when you do the thing that you are passionate about, that when you do the thing that it cores you. You get what I'm saying? It cores you. In the words of Michael Beckworth, one of the things he has said, he says, your pain will push you while your passion pulls you. And when I first heard him say that, I said, "Oh my goodness, damn, that's so damn powerful," because it is, right? Your pain will push you, okay, to take the leap out on faith, okay, to love again, okay, to do the thing that you are passionate about. See, success, the trials and tribulations that you may be facing right now, it is setting you up for success. Let me say that again. The trials and tribulations that you are facing right now, it is setting you up for success. Although You may not see it that way. Okay. But that's what it is. Oftentimes we ask source for something different, whether it's a different job or whether it's, to feel more fulfilled, more happy, blissful, whatever it is. And sometimes we actually believe that in order for us to receive the things that we have asked source for, that we have to, it's going to be this version of you, right? Like it has to be this version, but you don't understand that you have to renew your mind. You don't understand that you have to become a completely, totally different person. I share with you guys, when I had my first speaking engagement, okay, when I decided to, I was listening to Bob Proctor. I was really passionate what I was listening to. And you want to be mindful of listening to personal development, because honey, it's gonna get your ass moving. Okay, you ain't gonna be staying still. Okay, and maybe that's why sometimes people don't want to listen to it, because even sometimes I noticed within myself, it was times where, as though I would say, I don't want to listen to Bob Proctor, because I knew I was gonna start goddamn moving. I knew it was going to require me to get out my goddamn comfort zone. And so I remember I was listening to Bob Proctor and his business partner, Sandy Gallagher. And I remember, Bob Proctor, he spoke, but then Sandy Gallagher got on the stage. And, here it is, this high-end attorney, okay, who quit, okay? She had quit from being an attorney, okay, to wanting to work with Bob Proctor to learn what it was about law of attraction and everything that Bob Proctor, would teach. Okay. She quit her profession. And I remember she was saying, like, when it came to banking, because she was a attorney, like she, would help, corporations and stuff like that. With finances and stuff like that. She was a high-end attorney. And one of the things she said was, she said, she could talk about banking and all this other stuff, but when it came to, like, she could be on the stage talking about banking and whatever, but when it came to, um, you know, personal law of attraction and all these different things and taking a leap out on faith and all this other stuff, being on stage talking about that, because it was different from what she done went to school with for. She said she got so nervous. She got so nervous being on stage, going on stage, because Bob Proctor told her, all right, it's your turn, go up there. She said she was so nervous. And she said she remember looking at her watch, and because she had to be on there for an hour on stage. And she said she remember, she's so scared, and looking at her watch to see, because she went up there and she started speaking. And she said, I believe it was the first 15 minutes. She said she thought she was on there longer than 15 minutes. And she was so afraid while she was up there. And she turned around to look at Bob Proctor, because, Bob Proctor was like, behind the curtains in the back. And Bob Proctor just turned away from her. She looking for him, to come and rescue her. But he turned away because he knew she was good enough. He knew that she had what it took. He knew that. And there she was looking at him, and he sort of turned away to say, you have what it takes. In order for you to get over this fear, you got to put yourself out there. And I was so inspired, by Sandy Gallagher, being telling her story about how, she was a high-end attorney, okay, and how she took the leap out on faith to start getting on stage and speaking. I was so goddamn inspired that I said, you know what, honey, I'm gonna do a speaking engagement. Okay. I said, and it's funny because sometimes you got to be mindful of what you say, because I remember a few months prior to that, I had met this passenger, okay, who was a passenger at the time, named Thomas, and he got in my car. I was listening to Les Brown. And I was, telling him like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be, on stage. I'm gonna do what Les doing. And he used to work for Les Brown. I didn't. That day I met Thomas was the first day I met Thomas. Okay, and it's so funny how the universe will bring people into your life. Okay, bring the way the universe. I appreciate you, Tracy. The universe will bring people into your life. And that day I met Thomas, and yeah, I am. I'm telling Thomas, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be on stage, and I'm gonna be. And Thomas says to me, he says, okay, listening to what I'm saying, selling him my dream, okay. And he asked me, did I have a profile picture, okay. And I remember I was like, I was saying, and he was like, it's either a businessman. It's either you have it or you don't. Okay. It's either you got it or you ain't. Okay. And I said, well, I ain't got it. Okay. And he said, I'm gonna connect you with my photographer. Okay. I'm gonna connect you with him. And I'm gonna pay to have your headshots. Yeah, he said, do you have headshots, like professional headshots done? Because those professional headshots need to be on all your social media platforms. Okay. And I said, he said, I'm gonna connect you with my photographer. I'm gonna pay for it and everything. Okay. And I even remember that, I was nervous to go and meet the photographer. Okay. We spoke over the phone, of course, before I met up with him and stuff like that. Um, it was things going on in my mind. You don't even know these people and all this other stuff, but I took the leap out on faith. Okay. I listened to my intuition. Go ahead and do it. Okay. And I had such an amazing time. In fact, the photographer, okay, the pictures that you guys see on my YouTube on this account, and if you go to my Facebook, okay, those pictures was done by the guy Thomas, who I met from doing Lyft, okay. His photographer, okay, took those photos. And I was afraid then too, because it was so many things going on in my mind. Sometimes you tend to talk yourself out of the success that you desire, the success that you deserve. Okay, you tend to talk yourself out of it. And if I could do one job, if I could just share with you guys, about the times where so I was afraid, but still took the leap out on faith. Okay? And what makes me different from you guys? No difference. No difference. Just trusting. Just knowing that, me trusting my intuition, honey, I ain't gonna die. Okay? Which energy don't die anyway. Okay? Knowing that things are going to work out. Okay? And so my speaking engagement, I called Thomas, okay, because at this time, me and Thomas, we would talk and stuff like that. And I had called Thomas and I said, well, actually I sent him a message on Facebook Messenger. And I said, Thomas, I'm ready. Okay, I done listened to Sandy Gallagher. Sandy Gallagher got me all amped up, making me feel I could do this. Okay, she was scared, and that's real inspiration. When you could listen to someone and they inspire you so much. Inspiration means in spirit. They inspire you so much to get out of your comfort zone. Okay. And I was so inspired. I said, you know what, Thomas, I sent him a message. I'm going to set up I'm going to do the speaking engagement. Didn't have a clue. Didn't I didn't even know how to set it up. I didn't even, so of course Tom is sending a text message back. That would have been too good for him. He had to call me. And even then, a part of me was like, don't answer the phone. You know? The ego, don't answer the phone. You know? Because you said you're gonna do the speaking engagement, but what makes you think that you got what it takes to do a speaking engagement? People ain't even gonna show up. All these different thoughts was going on in my mind. And I answered the phone because I knew from me answering the phone, okay, it was pretty much putting myself on blast. It was pretty much facing myself. And when I answered the phone, Thomas is talking, and he's like, all right, like we gonna do it. You gonna look for a venue, look for, the location and stuff like that, and all this other stuff. And Thomas sent me a place called Peer Space. Okay, Peer Space, right? Um and I didn't, because I was, how am I gonna find a location? How am I, how do I go about this, and letting people know, and all these different things, and going back and forth with the people who renting out the venue, like it was so many ideas, but every time they I did one step, it was like the next step was right behind it. I remember even to this day that it was one night I needed to do Uber more because I needed to pay for the venue. And I remember I was like, oh my goodness, one place I thought I had the venue, right? But the guy was saying, it needs to be longer or whatever it was, and so I was like, oh my goodness, now I'm starting over again, and but every success, every part that where I was able to, like, when I finally got the venue, I was so excited. I was so excited, and it was free. It was free for people to attend, okay? And people did attend. I think it was like about 8 people, okay? Or maybe it could have been more. Wait, let me see. Okay, it was, that's irrelevant. It was like 6 or 8 people, okay, that showed up. And when I did it, okay, the speaking engagement, there I was. I didn't have a clue on the ins and outs, okay? Didn't know how the thing was gonna turn out. And was afraid. Was afraid even up, here. And this is what really helped me. I remember the day of my speaking engagement, and I was pacing back and forth in the house, and I needed to meditate. So I meditated, and I never forget, I had on the beige dress that I wore to give my speaking engagement, and I'm like in the hallway of the apartment, my apartment, and I'm walking back and forth. And as I'm walking back and forth, it was a download that came to me, that you don't have to be perfect. This is not like when you was working for someone else. Just be yourself. The people that's coming, they know you from your videos, from your authenticity. They know you from there. You don't have to be something that you're not. And that really, like, shifted my perspective. And I still was a little nervous because I didn't know what to expect, right? Um, but it was such an amazing event. It was really an amazing event, so amazing because Thomas told me, he said, you know what, and he showed up to the event. He said, you know what, Dina, do the event for 30 minutes, okay? And I remember the lady who was renting out the venue, okay? um oh, thank you, Tracy. Tracy, I'm thinking about you because I'm like, maybe you should rent out a venue and do like a what is that? What do they call it? Bring your own bottle with your art. That could be another stream of income. Rent you out a venue and yeah, sip and paint. Yeah, you could do it. You could do it. You can do it. Um, I was going to do it. When that, see, that's the thing. Okay, so you was thinking about it, right? And remember what I said about the universe will send synchronicities. Like that's the only way the universe speaks, okay? Through us. I mean, through people to us, right? So if you was thinking about that, it's like, and me saying it, it's like the universe is saying, all right, are you really going to go after what you desire? You know what do it for me? I always put myself on this not a time clock, but it's like I put myself on blast, so to speak, right? Like, how would your life be different if you do it? You know? Like and another thing what do it for me is knowing that one day that, I'm gonna get older, okay? And I want to sit around my grandchildren or I want to sit around people and tell them the stories of the times where as though I was afraid, but I did it. I still did it. I still showed up. And I never forgot, I was listening to Les Brown, and one of the things he said was, what if you are on your deathbed and all the gifts that was put in you stood over your deathbed and say, pretty much like, why didn't you show up? Like, why didn't you use us? Pretty much the way that we were supposed to be used. And it's also this tale I know Jim Rohn talked about, and he has say, it was a master who would give his students, different gifts. He gave one student one gift, another student two gifts, another student three gifts. And the saying goes, the master went away. But before he went away, he said, I want you to triple the gifts or double the gifts or something like that. And, some of the students added a three students, some of them, they doubled the gifts, but one student, I believe it was, who buried the gift. And he said, I didn't want the gift to get messed up or whatever it is like that. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But what happened was the master took that one gift that he gave to the student and gave it to another student who had two or three gifts, right? And that's the same thing with life. And I tell you guys this all the time. Is either you are creating or disintegrating. What you don't use, you lose. And it's not about you. Okay? It's not about you. I remember, listening to Bob Proctor, and he would be speaking, and I remember, Bob Proctor, before he even started speaking. Now here is this guy you know who had I think it was a eighth grade education, okay, or ninth grade education, dropped out of ninth grade, okay, didn't think highly of himself, but he started doing things differently. And then he was a part of The Secret, okay? And I remember he said his mentors, he would watch, is this one mentor, I can't think of his name, but it was this one speaker, okay? And he would say, I want to speak just like him. I want to get on stage and speak just like him. And one of the things Bob Proctor said, he said, the reason why people don't get on stage is because they too focused on them. You too focused on you and being selfish, because you ain't got nothing to do with this. It's not about you. It's about the people that has been waiting for you. It's about the people that, and you know what really gets me, because you really think you don't have an audience. And that's really, the sad part, because if you have been given this gift, this passion, this the purpose or whatever, and source has, you got this gift, but you won't do nothing with it. That's really the sad part. Because you looking at other people that's probably in the same exact field, or people may have came along and told you you wasn't good enough, and what makes you think that you are what makes you think that you have what it takes. That's all ego. All of that is ego. I was listening to Wayne Dyer earlier, and one of the things he was talking about was, when he was to come on PBS, and give a speech to talk about this book, okay, that he had been reading. And it was a part of him. Now, this is Wayne Dyer. It was a part of him that was like, what makes you think that you could teach this? He said, before he got on stage, that's what came to his mind, ego. Ego. And he said, ego means etching God out. He said, but it was a part of him that was saying, why you think that you good enough to teach this subject? What makes you qualified? You're not qualified. And all of that is from programming. All of that is programming. That's not even you. That is, someone putting you, or trying to put you in a box. But you too big for to be placed in a box. And you have to ask yourself, do I put myself, am I going to allow myself to be placed in a box? Because the truth of the matter is, nobody can do anything without your permission. You have to co-sign on that. You have to agree to that. And even if it was one person that showed up for my speaking engagement, see that's some of the things that you guys have to understand and get. And I always say this, that is never about the destination. Is never about, oh, my speaking engagement is what it really was about, the person that, I'm becoming, taking a leap out on faith, trusting the process, showing up for myself, and showing up for others. That's what it's about. It's not about, oh well, I had this speaking engagement. It's not about that. It was really about, do you trust? And I remember Thomas told me, he was telling me to watch Indiana Jones. He said because there's some parts in there where as though the guy had to trust the process. Him walking over the bridge or whatever. He said, you need to watch this. And I remember telling Thomas, because he said, I was like, oh my goodness, at the last minute. And I remember this one particular this night, okay, me getting the money up from Uber to pay for the event. And I remember this night, I told Thomas, I said, Thomas, I don't know. And he was like, what don't you know? And I was like, I don't know if I could, do it. I was like, so many things is coming up, from hearing as a kid, I get the cat by the tail, not thinking that I was in here. I done did several videos on Facebook, on YouTube. I done did several, well, at that time on Facebook mainly, but I done did several videos, and I was afraid. And I'm listening, hearing, what people had said to me, oh, I shouldn't, what makes me think that I would be in a guy who I, have relations with, once said, I wouldn't be in a relationship with you. You hear the way you speak. And I do all of those things can't pop in my mind that night. And I remember Thomas said to me, because he caught me, he said, oh, you do it the old you wasn't gonna put up a fight. And the way Bob Proctor turned away from Sandy Gallagher is just basically saying, like, you have what it takes. I'm not gonna rescue you because you don't need rescuing, you don't need saving. You have this innate ability within you that you can do it. That's how I felt that night, because everything is like, I'm telling Thomas, I'm like, Thomas, yeah, but all of this is coming up and stuff like that. And he just pretty much was like, you got this. Like, it's like seeking for somebody to tell me, like, you're right, right? But what type of friend would that be? Okay, what type of goddamn friend would that be? And the only thing he said was, he said, the OU is gonna put up a fight, but you got this. And I even remember this day. Okay, it was the next day, I believe. I had got a delivery to go to downtown Jersey City. Okay. Now, whenever you hear downtown of any place is beautiful. Okay. But to go downtown Jersey City, um, and I remember my phone, I had to deliver the food. And it was this complex, beautiful. Oh my goodness, this complex is, condominium, so gorgeous. So the building was, absolutely gorgeous. And I never forget, I got out of my Honda Fit, okay, 2008 Honda Fit or 2009 Honda Fit. And it was a G-Wagon, black G-Wagon, parked, like I was parked behind the G-Wagon. And when I got out of my car, I looked at the G-Wagon, and it was a part of me that was like, you don't even need this. Like the stuff that you say you desire, you're gonna manifest, you don't even need that stuff. Like, you got this car, this car is good, right? This car is reliable, Okay, you're doing fine with this car, with this 2008 Honda Fit. You're doing okay. And I went inside the condominium, the building. And one of the things that I thought about was like, damn, but what if? What if I could live in a place like this? What if? And so I delivered the food, and because this was the time, this was leading up to my speaking engagement, you know? And I just was, and so I continued, okay, to make the money and then pay for the menu. And those are some of the things that's gonna come up, because the reason they are going to come up is to challenge you. But you have to know that you are qualified, you are more than capable, okay? You have everything within you that you need to pursue it, okay? You smart enough, you bright enough, you intelligent. You don't have to be perfect. You learn as you go along. But if you don't take the first step, how would you be able to get the download for the second step? That's not how this thing here works. It don't work based upon all right, well, do the first step, or some people say, well, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna meditate all day and just wait for things to occur, things to just pop up. That's not how this here thing works. It doesn't work like that. Because you are capable. You are capable, and you are deserving. You have everything. You came equipped for this here life. Okay? So the thing that you are passionate about, it doesn't require you to have, and I buy books and all these different things and stuff like that, but it doesn't require you to have so many accolades and all these different things. The only thing it requires you to have faith. That's really it. Is no magic portion or pill or anything like that. It just requires you to have faith. This step to trust. To trust yourself. To trust that everything is going to work out. To trust it. That's it. And every part of my journey, it has always been, you know, I do this step and then I get the next step. It's like you worthy, right? You worthy for it. But it is like, do you believe that you deserve it? Right? Like, all right, it's almost like the universe is giving you and what really, really helped me when I first started was The Alchemist, the book. I remember Ralph Smart, Infinite Waters. He kept talking about The Alchemist. And that was my very first book. Like when I got on this journey, that was my very first book that I brought, The Alchemist. And one of the things, when you follow your heart, the universe will conspire to work in your favor. I don't know if The Alchemist or Ralph Smart said that, but I believe it's The Alchemist. Okay, Pablo Coelho. Okay, and when I heard that, every part of my journey, it has been um reassuring. Every part, when I feel like, oh my goodness, I don't know, universe, I don't, I know, I got the download, but I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure if that was you that was speaking. I'm not sure if that was my intuition. Like, I'm not sure. And every part, every time, I kid you not, every time, okay, whether it's I'm listening to a video, or I'm listening to a song or something, or I'm reading a book, and that idea, that clarity that I was seeking, it comes. Reassurance. Do it. I remember even listening to Lisa Nichols. There was times where, as though, I would say, I can't talk about that. I don't want to talk about that or whatever. And it was almost as if, you know, it was and I say permission, right? But it was almost, when I was listening to Lisa, it was almost as if the universe was using her as a vessel to say, you don't need permission to talk about whatever it is, the video in the videos. Just be honest. Just be, just show up. And I remember my mother would even say, Dina, I know you're doing the videos, but certain things I wouldn't even put in those videos. But I still did it. I still did it. The reason being is because the videos, they not about me. They not about me. The videos, they're not, and even my videos, I get inspiration from my videos, and I don't say that to be braggadocious or anything, but I do, right? But even my videos, I'll put this stuff in the videos because it's something that I've been through. It's something that I have grown from. And so when I got the download, when I meditated, when I first got the download to do videos to get people out the matrix, to get people out the matrix, I did not know what that meant. And at first, and even sometimes, I'm like trying to skip over it, the part matrix, because I'm like, people would say, all these different things and stuff. But when I got that download, I did not know what that meant. I didn't know, like, yeah, do videos, but okay, do videos on what? Do videos on what you doing? What do Dina do when the camera's not on? And so I just showed up and would make smoothies. That's how it started. I would make smoothies. And I would put in my videos, okay, the things that I was learning, okay, like, listening to different personal development, spiritual, people and stuff like that. And I would just put that in my video, but put a take on it, be authentic in a way that fits me, that suits me. That was the only difference. Like, if somebody talk about doubt, okay, I would be making a smoothie and I would talk about the times that I had doubt. That was all I was doing. And from there, okay, it wasn't no God. It wasn't no, it's like this. You take a few crumbs, okay? The universe gonna put a few crumbs or a source, whatever you want to call it, is gonna put a few crumbs. And then it's like you pick up those crumbs, and then the more you pick up those crumbs, the bigger the crumbs become, the more insight you have, the more your intuition is speaking to you louder, the more clarity you tend to have. But it's no, listen, if you are looking for just a outright blueprint before you get started, this is not for you. It's not, because there's no blueprint. You just taking a leap out on faith. And let me ask you this. You working at that job, right? And you already know what tomorrow is going to bring. You know what next week is going to, because you've been at that job for, I'm guessing you've been at that job, and I'm talking in general, okay? You've been at that job for a certain amount of time. So you already know what it's like. You already know what your pay is going to be like. You already know what these things are going to be like. And I'm not saying quit the job, but what I am saying is do the thing that you are passionate about. Some people, they have to quit because it's not gonna it's not, and I'm grateful because you guys know I'm on Section 8, so I'm grateful for that, right? But some people are going to have to quit the job because it's like you can't serve two masters, so to speak. And I just think about consumer law, right? Like I remember I had this epiphany. I said, damn, no wonder, you know, when people, people that work, they get so caught, they get so distracted, right? Like it's like, how could you study the consumer law, right? Which is spiritual. It's really mindset. I mean, it's really, it has to do a lot about spirit. But how could you study that if you at work for 8 hours? I remember listening even to Dick Gregory. One of the things he said was about deprivation. Okay, not getting enough sleep. Okay, and he said we have 24 hours in a day. 8 hours you work. Okay, 8 hours you sleep. That's 16 hours already. Okay. And then you have another 8. And he said, you haven't cooked. You haven't really spent any time with your children. 8 hours only. Pretty much. And he said, that's how they get you sleep deprivation. Deprivation. You get what I'm saying. Okay. And I remember listening to that and I was like, so my thing. Oh wow, Tracy. But I want you to ask yourself this, Tracy. Okay. Whew. How would your life be? And you could write this down, after the video or whatever. Just do a brainstorm, right? Because this would scare me. Okay. And I think the universe, and I said this earlier to a young lady. I said, listen, sometimes you get so comfortable and the universe is going to God, source, whatever you want to call it, is going to um make certain things happen for you to go in a direction that is best for you, right? So with me, with the vehicle, right, and that vehicle stopped working, I had the opportunity to get it fixed again. But then one of the things I thought was, well, how many times you gonna keep getting this vehicle fixed? See, I'm the type of person, like, all right, don't keep on doing the same thing over and over. Okay. And then I also heard about this law from Bob Proctor, the vacuum law. Okay. You got to get rid of the thing that is not serving you, the thing that is not working, to make room for something new. And so that's what I did. I took the leap out on faith again. Say, you know what? I'm just get rid of it. Got rid of it. Now, did I think about like, oh well, was that the right decision? At times I would think that like, damn, I don't know if this was the right decision, right? But I already did it. Okay. But ask yourself this, Tracy. Um, 6 months from now, how would your life be if you don't do the thing that you was called to do? Stuff like that, it scares me. Because we're not here for a whole lot of time. And I remember I would tell my sister this. When I got into doing Uber, and then after a while I'm like, and sometimes we like try to force things to work when we see clearly that is the time is up. Um I remember telling my sister, I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna be like the CEOs on the boat. They on a yacht, okay, with their families. I'm gonna be like that. And I would say that, and I meant that. Like it wasn't, I didn't know how it was gonna or when it's gonna happen. But I would say that because I feel that if they are able to do it, I am no different. They are no different from me. Okay? So write down 6 months from now. If you are doing the same thing, right? On a piece of paper, you can have a notebook or whatever, but 2 columns at the top, put 6 months from now. On one side, you're gonna put you working 10 and a half hours and whatever it is, how many hours you working, and doing the same thing every day, what you do. And then on the other side, right, you working and putting yourself on blast to hold a sip and paint event. And how would that look? The reason I say to do that is because if you like your life, then you do the same thing, right? But I know and I believe you deserve more. And so that's why I say that. Okay. And this goes for any of you guys that may come across this video. Put on a piece of paper. Okay. Now, if you're not serious about your life, whatever it is, you won't do that. And this is what I mean when I say serious about your life. Because I'm not gonna never say to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. Okay. I'm trying to find. I don't know. Maybe it's in another book. Because I have so many journals. But I'm always writing. Like I'm always writing goals down. I'm always writing different things down about what I desire for my life, right? And the thing about that is you don't even have to have it all figured out. That's the most phenomenal thing. Like you don't need to have it all figured out. Is something about when that pen hits the paper. There's power in it. And when a doubt comes up, which it will, okay, um, just getting, if you got to listen to some music, some inspirational music or whatever it is, but write down what you desire for your life. Okay? And then you have to move forward, but source isn't going to give you anything that you can't handle. And I remember I would say, I would hear people say, God won't put anything on your plate that you can't handle, but the truth of the matter is you are the one that's putting the stuff on your plate. But they're saying it is true, okay, when it comes to, is not, you're not going to like, it's not going to be so much put on your plate that you can't, like, you'll be able to handle this, okay? But if you get to a point where as though it's like frustrating or whatever it is, like writing your goals or writing your desires down, or looking at cars and houses or whatever it is, then just step away from it, okay? Because that means that you, because you can't see how it's coming in or how it's going to come or whatever it is, you getting frustrated, so just step away from it. Oh, that's okay. But if I could give any form of advice, it would be, write down the life that you desire, okay? Because you know different. The successful people that you see, they're no different than you. The only difference may be is that they took the leap out on faith and they got started. That's it. They just took the leap out on faith and got started. That was it. And so, you have to look at yourself and start understanding that you capable, you deserving, you have everything in you. Your spirit guides are guiding you constantly, daily. Your ancestors are with you. Okay? But you gotta meet them halfway. Okay? You gotta meet them halfway. You can't say, well, I'm just gonna wait. Suppose if I would have just said, oh, I'm a wait for better equipment, okay, to start videos. I remember even going to Best Buy one day, okay, and my youngest children father, okay, at this time, man, was together, and I remember I was like, oh, I want to get the tripod, for the is it the tripod? Yeah, the tripod, the stand for the phone. And I was like, I want to get that, all these different things. And it's so funny, I don't even use that stuff, right? Well, I don't have it, but even my ring light, I don't know if it was $80 or $90 for that ring light. I barely use it. I barely use it because it's not about the ring light. It's not about the equipment. See, you guys, you getting so distracted and caught off guard, thinking, oh, well, it's about this. I gotta have everything perfect. And it's not even about that. It's not even about that. Because the thing that is about you. It's about you just showing up, taking the leap out on faith. And you're not even showing up for you. Well, yeah, you're showing up for you, taking the leap out on faith, trusting the process. But you also showing up for the other people that's out there that are looking for ways to get through what they're going through. And because you have been through that, they could only hear the message from you, right? Like it's not about them having a message, from somebody else. It's like they waiting for you. Okay, I remember doing these videos when I first got started, and Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart. I would listen to him a lot. And I remember I started telling my mother and my sister like about him. And it was a part of me that was like, oh my goodness, maybe you shouldn't tell them, about Ralph Smart, because then they won't be watching your videos, because I would be doing lives a lot on Facebook. And I was, I had the ego. They not gonna watch your videos when you go live, because they're gonna be watching Ralph Smart's videos. And I still told them about them, right? Because what I understand is that it's not about you. You should never be competing. And when I drop the links down to other people videos that you guys could watch, I do that because it doesn't matter who you get the message from, as long as you fucking move. That's what matters to me. If I could put the videos that I listen to, okay, if I could put them in my video in the description, okay, I started doing this yesterday. If I could put, well, I did it in a few other videos, but if I could put those other videos that inspired me, and I could put that in the description for you to start moving. If that, I'm willing to do whatever it is that is going to help you without violating my integrity or violating others, that is going to help you move in a direction that you say you want to move into. That's what it's about. So it doesn't matter who you get the message from, as long as you start understanding that you are capable, you are deserving, you are phenomenal, and you have what it takes. That's it. That is it. You don't have to have it all figured out, all perfect and everything like that. No, that is ego. And if it's in your heart, it is for you to do it. It is not for, Source is not going to tell you to write a book so you can feel, so nobody could buy it. It doesn't work like that. It's not going to tell you to hold an event so no one will show up. It's not going to, it doesn't do things like that. Even if it's one person that shows up. Okay? That is how it works. You trust the process. You get the download first. You trust the process. You move based upon faith. And you do it. And then it would be other people, that's your audience, that will very good, Tracy. Very, very good. Very good. Because that's really what it's about. I tell you guys, the Prosperity Bible, okay, the book that I'm reading. And I'm reading it again. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Watlers. And I've finished that chapter, but I'm gonna read it about 7 or 8 times. And the reason being is so it could be embedded in my subconscious mind. And every time I read the Science of Getting Rich, it does something to my energy. Like I can see the shift in my energy, right? But in that book, it talks about how spirit and God wants to expand itself through you. And it also goes on and say, if you're not rich, right? Because, oftentimes people have this concept of money and they feel like, oh, well, the poor you are, which poor is a mindset, but the broke you are, Okay, it's like you doing the community or other people around you, you doing them a favor, right? When in or actuality, it's like the more wealth you have, the more you can do, because money, it just amplifies you, exactly who you are. It just amplifies you. That's it, right? And so the more you have, the more you can do. And that's really like, me reading this over and over and over and over again. Um, but I had noticed some changes, like even with my social media, like with my even on this platform with YouTube. I remember one time I was going through my analytics, and I barely watch the analytics. Some content creators say, you want to pay attention to the analytics and all this other stuff. I just put was download I got, what I'm passionate about, and that's pretty much what I speak about. So the analytics, some people say, well, you gotta watch it. I'm not a person that watch the analytics a lot. Um, Sometimes I don't even understand the goddamn analytics. Okay, just to be honest. But one of the things that I do understand is I remember one time I was looking at my analytics, in YouTube Studio, and it is say how many subscribers that you gained from last month to this month. And I notice it will always say the subscribers, it would be up, but it would be some parts that would say the same as usual or something like that. But I noticed once I started reading the books and not doing so many videos, but in the words of Jim Rohn, working harder on myself as opposed of, working on content and all these different things. My analytics, it has went from, because it would be months where so I say, when is this gonna say, more so, like, my follow account, it went up to 230, new followers, or I mean subscribers, within the last 30 days. Like, when is it gonna say, besides saying usual, my watch hours is usual or whatever it is, when is it gonna be different? And so a few days ago I went through my analytics and I seen that it says higher than last month, right? Like it'll say watch hour time is higher than previous months or whatever it is like that. So the reason I tell you guys this is, one, when you are working more so on yourself, okay, you're gonna see results. Two, when you read the books. I was listening to Brian Tracy the other day, and one of the things he said was, he said, people have doubled their income from reading books, double their income, because it's something about when you read in a book. See, when you read in a books, it stimulates your imagination. Okay, you start thinking, you start seeing things, right? Like you start seeing like, oh, it's possible. You start seeing all these different opportunities that, like the books, to me, it just puts me in a mind of creativity. It stimulates my imagination. That's what it do for me. That's what the books do. Okay. Um, so yeah, so I hope you guys got something from this. Okay, damn near been on here for about damn 2 hours. It's so funny because when I first started, my whole idea, I was like, I'm gonna just say this, for a little while. I'm gonna be on YouTube, do a YouTube, and at first I was like, maybe I should just record the video. Maybe I shouldn't do the live. And then there was a part of me that was like, nope, do the live. So I'm glad I did the live. Okay. And on my bed right now, I have two books on there: Contract Law for Dummies, and then I have Prosperity Bible. So I'm about to read Prosperity Bible because everything that you tend to do is about mindset. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the Prosperity Bible to put me in a receiving mindset, and then I'm gonna go to contract law so I could get it. Okay. Um so yeah, so with that being said, rock out, believe in yourself, keep on going. Okay. Know that you have what it takes. I believe in you. I believe in myself. Okay, so therefore I believe in you. Okay. Um and do it. Whatever it is that your heart has been calling you to do it. I done gave you guys so many people stories. And in fact, after I get off of here, I'm gonna put videos in the description of people that I have listened to that you could go watch, and just for reinsurance to know that you do have what it takes. All right. And so with that being said, I catch you guys on the next one. Peace.